All right, we'd like to call this meeting to order, and the time is 6:11. Can you please stand for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance?
Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for all your blessings that you poured upon us. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you, Lord, for watching over us as we slept all night long. Thank you, Lord, for watching over us on the dangerous highways, those that travel far. Please, Lord, watch over them as they travel back to their destination. Now, Lord, as we go into this meeting, Lord, I pray that we open our hearts and our minds and make good decisions. And Lord, I pray that the speaker will bring something to this table for us to understand of what we are trying to do in our small town of White Springs. As I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Christina, did you want to come up here or you want to sit out there?
Oh, I sit here. We're not, I'm not a board member.
Well, I thought you said you was on the board, you're just not an officer.
Oh, I'm not an officer, yes, I'm not an officer.
But you still on the board, so it's up to you whether you want to sit here or out there.
I'll just sit, it's fine. I'm fine.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, our secretary is going to do roll call first. Ashley Bryant. Gretchen.
Here.
Keevan Jones. Milton Hayes. Nikki Williams. Christina McCulley.
Here.
Rhonda Johnson. Here. Freddie Osborne.
Here.
Clarence Udell. Is Meg Shea, are you considered a board member or the videographer? Is Meg Shea considered a board member? Yes.
No.
I thought you just was here to record.
I'm just riffraff.
Okay. There being a quorum exists. Okay, next we will have to approve the agenda as it is written. Are there any additions or deletions you'd like to make?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
under the attorney report, can we add, sunshine law? Just a topic.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Anybody else have anything else for us? No? All right, can we get a motion, please?
I would like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of the agenda.
I'm Rhonda Johnson, second.
It has been moved and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it unanimously. Next, we have the approval of minutes from January 7th and February 28th meetings. You should read the packet. And I get a
I
motion?
think that is page
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes from the January 7th and the January 28th meetings.
I'll second.
All right, it has been moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, next we will have our status update, report. One second. Alright, we're gonna go to I'm gonna let Befaithful do the one from the walkthrough since I was not there. Last week, I was still in Tallahassee when the engineer came out, so we're gonna let Befaithful go ahead and do the status of engineering inspection inquiry.
Okay, so I met with Carol Chedwick, she's the professional engineer at the Telford property on the 28th of January. And her overall take on the property was that the location was in much better condition than she thought that it was starting. We walked through floors 1, 2, 3, and the exterior. And so she said that she's gonna provide a proposal to conduct the official engineering inspection. That'll be provided to Ms. Williams. That will not include an electrical assessment. That'll have to be done separately. Her official inspection will include the structure, underneath the structure, the building structure. It will assess the condition of the HVAC system, and she will have that ready from the time she conducts the inspection in 2 weeks. She said that the bathroom on floor 2 and 3 for an event and retail space, she believed that they were already ADA compliant and would require minimal improvements. She thought that it would be aesthetic improvements. The repair crew was present as she conducted the walkthrough, and they were there working on floors 1 and 2. In the exterior of the building, they have built a handicap ramp leading all the way up. I don't know if you've ever been into the Telford on the first floor. There's a second kitchen that has been installed that has restaurant, commercial quality equipment inside the second kitchen. She thought that the bar on the first floor was in very good condition. There are 5 HVAC units that she believed from her observation were adequate to support the building, but in her formal report, she will address all of that. There were a couple of areas of soft wood throughout. She thought that the building, the structural placement, those are called the support beams. She thought that they were intact, but again, her official report will provide a detailed report of her findings. Her report will not include estimation of cost. She does need a complete floor plan prior to conducting her inspection, and if that's not available from the owner, she did provide us with contact information so that we could secure a floor plan from a private or a separate vendor. The cost of the floor plan is based on square footage. That was it, Madam Chair. That's it.
Okay. Any comments from the board? Okay, the report on our engagement and response. We were at the last meeting in January, on January 7th. It was a question brought up whether Mr. Nick would be willing to negotiate his price, depending on the appraisal. When I spoke with him, he said he's not stuck on that price and he's willing to negotiate with us. So as we get the inspections done and the reports in, then we will know better what we will be working with, what price we will be trying to negotiate with him for.
And right now, he's at what, $699?
It's $750.
It was $750
what is that right now?
was the original price it is there. It's stated. I do know that when we did the walkthrough in the beginning before the committee was formed, he had just installed the sprinkler system and it just updated his whole electrical throughout the building.
Yep.
So, I don't know if that's part of it, cause he was stating how, he spent over $300,000 doing repairs. So that might be what he's figuring in, but he said nothing is written in stone and he's willing to, negotiate with us. Once he find out what the value is and what has to be done. So I think that's a positive for us. Okay, our discussion item is the appraisals. Oh, wait, Christina, was you ever able to find anyone to do, I know you said you knew people that do home appraisals,
Yeah,
but
I
not
only have residential.
residential? Never mind. Got that under control, okay. All right, our discussion items was for the appraisal scope, inspection and structural evaluation needs, risk and stabilization consideration. So I guess we'll wait on that and we'll just get straight to the attorney.
Okay, well, that was quick. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to go over is the sunshine law. Have some down there. I don't have some out here in case anybody wants them. Yeah.
Somebody, we already got them.
Okay, all right. So these are prettier than the last one, but they do have a sign. Put the sign on them. These are prettier.
We're just stuck with plain Jane.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, so, since this is a committee that has been formed, and so far the committee is formed to evaluate the purchase and operation of the historic Telford Hotel, you are bound by Florida Sunshine Law. And so, just some key points here. When it all comes down to it, this is the statement. This is the overarching statement. It requires that all meetings of 2 or more committee members where matters that may foreseeably come before the committee are discussed must be open to the public, properly noticed in advance, conducted in a public location, and formally documented through minutes. So the key words are there, matters that may foreseeably come before the committee. So if there is any inkling whatsoever that this is a matter that is going to come before the committee, that for discussion or for a vote, do not talk about it. If you are concerned and you think you might, don't do it. So no private conversations. This includes texts, emails, social media. So if one person is posting about the Telford and how great it is and how they want to do X, you can't go and comment on under there, that sounds like a great idea, let's do it, or whatever. So any type of communication. That doesn't mean that you cannot talk to each other. You can talk to each other, just not about matters that may come before the committee. You can discuss, like, what time are we meeting? Okay? Where's the meeting located? Little things like that. When in doubt, contact either Mr. Garner, Sanithia, or Shay, or even myself, if you have a question about something and you think that it might be about sunshine, then one of us can maybe answer that for you without you having to contact a committee member. If you do violate the sunshine, be aware that that is a crime. It's not just a naughty thing to do and get slapped on the wrist, but it is a crime. There's civil fines. You can be removed from the committee. And if you're talking about something that the committee votes on and it's found to be a violation of the sunshine, then it can invalidate that decision. So these are really serious things to consider. At the bottom of this, you do have my name, my phone number, this is my cell number. If you have a question, call and ask me, email me, I'll be happy to answer it for you. When it comes to properly noticing meetings, so this is why we canceled the full group walkthrough for the Telford, because that would be a gathering, and unless everybody was gonna be like on silent disco or something like that, it was gonna be a problem. So, if our meeting, typically we wanna do 7 days in advance for notice. There are opportunities, of course, if you have an emergency, to do shorter notices, and they must be held in a location that's accessible to the public, and provide an opportunity for public comment as appropriate. And of course, we have, it's Befaithful, taking care of our minutes, so we're good there. But this is just a very important part of the law to consider. Ms. Brown?
Every place I've been in Florida so far has pretty much mandated that to call an emergency meeting, you must give at least 24 hours. And and also to the newspaper of primary circulation. They have all the, we know newspapers are few and far between now, but we get it, I think if we can post it on our website and get the word out, usual places, we've met that emergency meeting. But having one now and calling it at 3 o'clock this afternoon, no.
Not unless it's like a life or
Dire
death
emergency,
situation.
right.
So, and Mr. George may be glad to know we are looking into texting, so that would be
Excellent.
fantastic.
Yeah.
When you say the committee, is that just the board, or what comprises the people that are under the sunshine as far as the discussion goes?
Just the committee members, the people who are listed as being part of making decisions on this committee.
So, Nikki, how many people do you have on the committee now?
9 is what they, but 9 is what they said originally, you have 7 or 9. So keep the odd number in there.
So, how
And
many?
you can have members of the committee who are non-voting or you have members, but anybody who's authorized to vote must be more than 9. And we don't have, and we're gonna put some bylaws and all that spelled out that,
The committee will be probably more defined very soon. That's
Okay,
a
so
part, that's a
everybody
later
that's
part.
sitting in the audience isn't part of the committee?
No, ma'am.
Who?
Okay.
no.
Well, one that's sitting out there.
Yes.
But we officially have 11 members.
But we can come up with some bylaws.
Well, yeah, well. I want to introduce to you, somebody an amazing person who happens to be my law clerk of all things, right? A law clerk. But I want to tell you a little bit about her. You may have, of course, seen her name, heard her name, all that good stuff, but this is Amarosa. The Amarosa, known by one name internationally. She just graduated from law school.
Oh.
Yes. So that's how she ends up being my law clerk all of a sudden. But of course, she has amazing experience on the worldwide stage on doing big projects, little projects. But when I saw her resume, first of all, we've known each other for 10 years, so this isn't just like a random thing. But on her resume, she was, Vice President of Client Services of the P3 group. P3 stands for Public-Private Partnership. And so when we're trying to do something as significant as the Telford or whatever we decide to do, I thought it would be great for her to present different strategies, how this process works, how she can assist us getting through this process. And so we are very fortunate to have someone of her caliber and her experience and her knowledge here in Little White Springs. And we look forward to what she's gonna present to us.
Thank you so much, Attorney Garner.
Is that, switch on?
Come on, Madison. Yes.
Two more.
Oh, you can order.
One's his, one, yeah.
Yes.
It was Helen Keller who said that alone you can do so little, but together you can do so much. So I want to say to each of you all, I thank you for your commitment to serving on the committee. You don't have to, but you do it because you want to do so much for this town. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve as a law clerk. In this position, I get to learn by doing, and so Attorney Bart has, she's given me a lot so that I can practice, but the one available, and I've studied the ins and outs in every corner of the hotel, because as she stated, this is the work that I do, and I think it's incredible that you want to find a viable way to get back to the town. So what I have passed out to you all, y'all got copies of these? Two things. I believe in North Star memos that just allows you to center, this is a draft. It allows you to center on what it is that you want to accomplish. And I talked with Attorney Bart about expanding the work that you've already done. I believe that the Telford Hotel project is a very viable project. But I also think that there are so many other things that you can explore that you can do in the town. And so I made a suggestion to her. She allowed me to do this memo to present to you about maybe a name change for the committee from just about being focused on the Telford Hotel to being called the Community Redevelopment Committee. And I detailed why, how, and all of that, why, while the hotel is great to look at, in the event that you all decide not to move forward with that project for whatever reason, that you don't lose the momentum and the commitment that you have to making this town a better place. So this really is about momentum and making sure that you continue to move forward in spite of whatever happens with the project. The second thing that I drafted, oh, yes ma'am. The second thing I drafted was a draft resolution, which was great. This was the first one I got to draft for attorney, and she allowed me to present it to you all for you to mark up and to evaluate. In the event you decide to expand the work of this committee, this would be the resolution that you would present, and you can draft it up, and you can mark it up for consideration. And so that's the work that I've been doing since I joined this amazing firm, and I get to work with this amazing attorney. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if there's no questions, I have just one thing. And I was speaking with Robert about this. I had two questions about parking at the Telford Hotel, and about the desire for an official appraisal. The state of Florida requires an appraisal, not an engineer, to make an assessment about the value of the property. And I just wanted to ask if there was any plans to get a Florida license appraisal to ascertain the true value of the property.
We're looking for one. That's what I was asking Christina about, but the appraiser that she worked with only does residential. So we have to find one that can do the commercial appraisal for us.
She's also a real estate agent. She wears many hats. These are just like, this is just this resume, just so you know. There's a lot more. So yeah. Thank you. I'll assist, and I'll share the information with your attorney. And is there anyone that can speak to the parking for a project of this size?
The parking lot is actually, they have some parking on the side and in the back, but their parking lot is actually across the street.
Is it like a half acre or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a half acre.
And so in the purchase of the property, you would also acquire?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
part of his property also.
Mayor? Get back to the appraisal and all that, that we know that's got to be architect and you certify and all that, just deal with anything with the government. The main thing right now is we have no working funds. No working funds, so we're trying to, find some way to do fundraisers or whatever, because going into this, we went into this with the understanding that the city, and I don't know what you learned about it, but we're in dire straits financially. We don't have the money to go out and spend $100,000, engineered, architect, and all that stuff. So, we understood that, council approved this concept with the understanding that city dollars are not gonna be spent. We got to find some other philanthropic, organization, foundations, grants or something that, we can get. So, that's the biggest hurdle we got right now.
So in my experience of working with public-private partnerships, you would look for a partner who does three things: design, build, and finance. And generally, your partner would absorb those early costs and roll them into the
Yeah,
financing.
we're trying to find who is that partner.
Very good. Well, if there's no other questions for me,
Well, I want to maybe, talk about some of the projects you've done in the past that may, be somewhat similar to, an area like White Springs.
so I'm very passionate about making healthcare available and affordable to communities. And so my passion project was a women's clinic that was done through a P3. And there was no other clinic to provide affordable access to healthcare in that particular community. And so not only were we able to do that through grants and through partnering with a good P3, but we were able to make a tremendous difference in the community that didn't have a health clinic whatsoever, but specifically one that assisted the women in the community. So I'd be happy to show you from the beginning planning to the ribbon cutting, that project. That's the one that's probably nearest and dearest to my heart. The second one was transforming a nursing home into dormitories for the community college, because people drove all over the state to get to this particular location to get education, but there was nowhere to stay. And so we transformed a pre-existing nursing home that was purchased through grant funds and some other private equity funds and turned it into dormitories. So those are two of my passion projects, but at the top of that list is affordable health care for the community. And I haven't done enough research to see what type of medical facilities that you have.
We have nothing.
But there is a ton of funds available for, if that's a project that you all need or are interested in. There's tons and tons of federal dollars available for that. I guess you all know, I worked in the federal government for 20 years, and I absolutely know where the money resides, particularly money for healthcare.
What's the population of the community you help?
In Arkansas, this particular county only had about 1,200 people, but that particular health clinic serviced the entire tri-state. So there was about 7 counties that was serviced.
Okay.
It wasn't a large community, but as I said, alone you do little, but when you come together, you can do a whole lot. Thank you all.
Yeah.
So the resolution that's been presented, it's a resolution establishing a community redevelopment committee, defining its purpose, scope, and authority, providing for membership and operating guidelines, and providing for an effective date. And so this would still encompass the work that you're doing with the Telford. It wouldn't stop the work that's going on, but it would expand the scope so that different ideas like a health clinic, or you mentioned the eco tourism, you know, different things like that. I think without a doubt, we all know that the town of White Springs needs some type of economic development to move forward. And so this just broadens the horizon and allows the committee to think outside the box more, to explore more opportunities. Everything still goes back to the town council for approval, but it would come out of the committee to the town council for ultimate approval. And so this is what I would present to you to see if you would vote to recommend that the town council, when the town council meets next week, to accept this resolution.
Did we make a resolution for the Telford committee that would be changed, or do you remember?
We never made an actual resolution. We okayed Nikki to explore the Telford, but we never did a formal resolution.
So we would need to, as our committee, we need to decide tonight whether we want to change our name to,
Community
Community Redevelopment Committee.
I strongly recommend it, I tell you, because we'll never be able to form a CRA, a community, redevelopment authority. We just don't have the people, this is about as close a thing you can do that, would give you some, and by having this, there might be a availability of, or on behalf of the town, you could apply for grants or something, by having this instead of just, it's an ad hoc committee.
I think it would expand your availability of people coming in to join this committee rather than just the little Telford committee.
Right.
I think you'd really expand the people that wanted to join you.
But it'd still be, they'd have to have bylaws and everything like that.
Yeah, we would set up procedures.
Right.
Just, I mean, sort of like how when we did planning and zoning, we put together a rule book.
Right.
The members would be approved by the town council. That way we'll know clearly who the members are. And, meetings, what do we have here? I think it was quarterly, is that, did I see that? I've been looking at a lot of statutes today, a lot of bills, let's see. Shall meet as needed. And the findings and recommendations come to the town council, but it allows for a more concentrated effort on these issues that the town council can do on its own. And all the work that you're doing on the Telford is covered under this, so it's not gonna undo anything that you're already doing.
I have a question. Would you all be open to hearing, remember Nick that came to, the meeting when we hired the town manager? This is what he does in Live Oak, and he has offered his services to help us. If you had any questions, I bet he'd be willing to sit down with you and make suggestions. Don't do what I did, all this, about this particular thing.
The same time economic development,
But not about this specific committee.
Development, yes, we call
But maybe not about the committee, since this is
Yeah,
kind of just
yeah.
framed
But
up.
he may have some, oh, don't make the same mistake I did ideas.
Mhm.
Y'all heard the recommendation, any discussion, comment?
A good idea to change the name.
I, Rhonda Johnson, would like to make a motion to change the name from the Telford Committee to the Community Redevelopment.
Leslie, is the motion for the name change or the motion to adopt the resolution?
That would probably be
The better?
yes.
Okay. I, Rhonda Johnson, would like to make a motion
the council to adopt the resolution.
for the council to adopt the motion for the resolution and the changing of the name to the redevelopment committee.
Okay.
With any necessary corrections.
Yes, ma'am.
How about that?
Okay, all right.
Timothy, you got that?
I second that.
It has been moved.
Befaithful got it also.
It has been moved and second that we.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me go ahead so long. That we adopt, we recommend the, resolution for the town council to to develop a community redevelopment committee and to change the name from the Telford Committee to the Community Redevelopment Committee.
Close enough.
Oh, Lord. All in favor?
I didn't finish it, with any necessary
With
correction.
any
necessary correction.
Scrivener error.
I did not see Ms. Williams over there writing.
Yeah. She got it. All right, are there any discussion?
I ain't feel you yet.
No discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Yeah,
Well, we have a new name.
We have a recommendation.
We have a recommendation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
So next week at
So,
council, we'll bring
the
it up.
recommendation is for the council
Yes.
to accept and
Yes.
to approve the committee.
Yes,
But we were voting to change our names, correct?
you can do that too.
That's what we voted on, right?
Right.
And then the recommendation to go to the council.
Yes, ma'am.
So either way, we got a new name,
Okay.
whether they accept the committee or not.
Okay,
All right.
I get it.
I think I'm right. I don't know, I've had a long day, so.
I'll accept it.
Okay. Okay, you got it. Here we go.
And I think that was all that I had under my section. I did note, okay, we have your clarification of committee role and process. I think that we can address once we have the committee in place and put together, I can put together like draft rules and procedure to bring back to the committee, to review at your next meeting. And then for the other topics, do we maybe wanna bring back the law clerk to address some of these?
I think we should.
Okay, law clerk.
I think that we should start working on a clear vision of why we are doing this. I mean, I know like the focus is we want to preserve the building. But we have to have something that's gonna self-sustain. And we don't have a clear vision of that yet. So if somebody can give us ideas of what we could utilize that space for, that would be great. Or we could listen to the community. Does anybody have a clear vision of what they want to use that building for?
I wanted to, I was on the same path as you, because I was thinking, if the committee acquires it, town acquires it, you still have to pay property taxes and insurance every single year if you don't have anything in there producing income to pay. And who wants to come and lease it? Who are you looking for to come lease the building? Or is just gonna be a tourism place that has to produce money to pay your property taxes and your insurance every year?
Now, I know when I first thought about this, and I thought about it for a couple of months before I even started putting together the packets and things that I had been giving out. In my vision, my world, my perfect idyllic world, I wanted us to get it for a couple of reasons. One, it can bring revenue in as an event space, because it's a great place to hold weddings, birthday parties, etc. You do have rooms that can be rented out, like a hotel. You can do long-term stay. It has a 2-bedroom apartment at the bottom also, that can be leased out for, for like a month or whatever, not permanently, but
Right.
kind of like you do with the Airbnbs or whatever. Also, when I first brought it before the council, it was a gentleman here telling us that Nutrient was looking for a place to house their interns. And, Telford has 22 bedrooms that can be rented out or contracted out with some of these companies that are coming into the county and into this area. So that was another thing for us. Then we also have the restaurant, that's downstairs that we also, wanted to utilize that also. So in a way, you have the restaurant, the hotel, or / bed and breakfast, however, an event space. And
So the committee's gonna
then you can
do all that, the committee's
tours.
gonna be the ones that rent it out, and are you gonna have like somebody to lease that area to do all that?
We have not gotten to that part. We have to work out the legality of everything first, see what we are allowed to do.
I have to think ahead when it
And
comes to
what,
like, who's gonna
you
pay
know,
the
what
bills.
we're
and-
not, because I look to make sure that, you know, the town can operate a
Right,
business.
right.
And I've heard a lot of people say, no, they can't do that, but I researched it before I even brought it up. I already knew that we can do it. It's just the way that we do it.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like bring up anything, I know from the work I do, people will buy things and they think, oh, okay, I can do this, this, and this with property, and then they can't. And then they're, you know, not stuck with it, but you know what I'm saying, so you do want to think, you know, she's like, you're moving too fast, but you do wanna think ahead of.
Right, and then like some other ideas that I also had was, you know, when we were doing the walkthrough and we was looking at the room, this is before we formed our committee, so she and I was allowed to talk.
Yes. Yeah.
As planned. You know, we was looking, I'm like, Gretchen's like, oh, this is nice. I'm like, oh, yeah, the beds and stuff, because he's given all of the historical stuff that's there as
Yeah.
part of the purchase.
Yeah.
Which to me, that's probably more valuable than the building.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the rooms and I'm like, oh gosh, first idea came to our head was, we have all of these women in White Springs that do quilting. And you know, we contract them to make these quilts that we will put on the beds in each of the rooms. And then you also have these same quilts available in the gift shop if they wanted to buy them. White Springs has a lot of local artists, kids and adults that like to paint and draw. And those will be the things that we have on the walls throughout the hotel that will also be for purchase. And, you know, it would generate a steady income in for the town in more than one way. So you would have the retail and the gift shop with the different items there. You have the kitchen and the restaurant area. You know, people can have banquets, birthday parties, as well as weddings, you know, catering, and a place to stay. Folk Festival time, before it was closed down, it was always filled with people doing the Folk Festival. So, you know, that gives us a hotel back in town, because that's what we don't have. And then you also know, if you've been here any amount of time, some people said it has visitors. And some people said it has visitors, so, you know, that is another attraction. But then some people just want to go and look because of the history of the building, not even just the ghost hunters, but, you know, it's a lot of different things that will bring somebody into the Telford. And that was what I've been working on building off of. Like, look, I already got rooms picked out, how you're gonna do this, we're gonna change this to a suite, adopt a library, you know, having different businesses and companies adopt a library, adopt a room, a suite. We just have like all these ideas, so.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're, you know, and everybody in this room is probably emotionally attached to White Springs. People on the outside are not though. So we also have to think about, do they wanna come into this town? Is it clean enough that people do wanna come and see what the Telford has? I don't know what kind of ordinance the cities has with cleaning up or anything like that, but we have to think about, you know, yes, everybody's emotional here. I grew up in White Springs every single summer, so I walk these streets, you know, and so is everybody here. But we're trying to think, okay, what can bring in all the outside too, because that's where your revenue money is gonna come from also. So that's where changing the name is a great idea also, because you're thinking outside of just the Telford, what else can bring people into town to spend money here?
It was also a dinner theater there one time too. So, you know, I have these ideas, they be coming like, okay, you can do this, you can do that, y'all can do this, you can do that. And, you know, the possibilities is only limited what your mind stops at. It is unlimited possibilities that we can do. All right, Cheryl.
Is there room available for a gift shop as well?
Yes.
I haven't been in it.
Yes, we've already picked out the space.
Get back to what Christine was saying. This whole thing is going to depend on us somehow getting a business plan together that encompasses all the stuff you talked about a few minutes ago. I mean, we can talk about all of that, but until we get to the point that we can get somebody to work with us and do a business plan from A to Z, that responds to who's gonna do what, when, where. We'll be talking about this 5 years from now. So
Yeah, but one of the things, like, to Christina's point, is that it's not just the Telford, it's the whole town, like, you know, I think we all know by now, we had a vicious dog attack in the town recently from someone who was walking to the post office. There are other dogs out there as well that present a threat. If people wanna come and visit and they wanna go walk our streets, they have to be safe as they do so. We have a lot of properties where there's litter in the yard, you know, garbage out in the yard. They have a garbage service, they pay for it, but they don't pick the garbage up out of their own yard. And so, you know, we need some leadership within the town to motivate people to clean up their own properties, because the town's the destination, the Telford is where they stay, and that's what we've got to remember.
I have a question. I have lived here all of my adult life, and all it was this uncleanliness that we're talking about.
Yeah.
This sudden uncleanliness. And we wanna know that the town is clean. And we wanna know that the town is clean. Why don't we that are so concerned that the town is clean, why don't we start with self and develop a group? We that are so concerned about the town being clean. Let me speak up a little loud.
Yes, please.
But those of us that are so concerned about the town being so good, cause a lot of us in here grew up as adults here. And we raised our children here. And our children were safe and fine. And this town that some of you just came to exist here, and all of this uncleanliness that you all seem to see, why don't we develop a group, the ones that are concerned about the uncleanliness, and help clean up the unclean town?
Why would I go to someone's yard and clean their yard up? I clean
I
mine.
didn't say you.
I clean mine, and actually clean a 1 block stretch. I mow it, I weed eat it, I pick up the litter, not just in front of my house, but I do a long stretch. And I actually do even more than that. I live at the corner of Jewett and Bridge, and I clean up to US 41. A lot of times after the storms, I've gone out there with my equipment, and I've cleared the down debris. I've picked up trash, I've mowed, I've weeded, I go down to the apartments. I go south on Bridge Street to the corner of Kent Hutchinson. So I chew a pretty big piece of that off. And I pick up stuff out of other people's front yards at the right of way. And so, yeah, I'm doing a part of it, a big part of it. You know,
Am I my brother's keeper?
so that Curtis can be free and Chuck can be free to handle the areas that are along US 41 and other places, because they have bigger fish to fry than cleaning up our right of way. You know, 2 guys in the whole town. We've got a park in town with a tree that's still laying in the water from the last hurricane. We've got a chain link fence damage where the playground is. There's a lot to be done out there, and I'm doing a pretty good chunk of it. You know, and so I think that there's plenty of opportunity, as we love this town, and for you who has a great stake in this town because you have so much life experience here, that this is your baby, especially more so, to be so prideful of it, to go out and not let it run down.
And you know I'm not.
No, I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there for the public to say that we need to go out there and we need to clean up the town.
I said we.
Right, so I am, you know, and to a great extent I have. And I've gone over to down the other end of town to help people in storm damage to clean out their yards with my equipment as well. To get logs out of Teddy Bear's yard that were too big for him to move, or in other places. So
I have an
Okay,
idea.
y'all, this conversation we're gonna have another day. That's not part of our committee. That would be something that can be brought up in the town council meeting.
Could I ask Rhonda if she would bring it up in the town council meeting? I love that idea. If you would bring that up, and maybe we could form a new committee. I think that's an awesome idea.
You ready,
Thank
Ms.
you.
So Attorney Burke also asked me to just go through the mechanics of what you are looking for, just so that we can kind of centralize our focus on the project itself. Just as a reminder, the overview of the project is, first, it's a historic project. But first and foremost, it is a real estate transaction. The first step is that you have to purchase this property from the owner. And I'm just gonna ask everyone who's bought a home in here to raise your hand. Right. So you essentially, as a town, you're purchasing a home from a private seller who wants to make a profit. So as long as at the center of the first step, you remember that this is a real estate transaction, and the town has to get the best price for this property, that has to remain the first step and the most central step. When you bought and sold your home, you knew that you improved it so that it looked as valuable as possible. When you were purchasing a home, you looked to see any flaws, any improvements, that sort of thing. That's the same process that we have to take in moving forward with the work that you're doing with this committee. And in doing so, we believe that that first step would be the appraisal. Because it's the same step that you would take in buying a private property. You will want to know what a licensed appraisal would assess the value of that property would be. And you would not want to pay much more than what that appraisal says. So the appraisal is going to drive the negotiation of this particular project, correct?
Right.
Okay. The next step is looking at and getting feedback for the structure. Mr. Garner has repeatedly said that the funds are low. So looking for a way to get all of this assessment done as to little or no cost to the town, that is incredibly important. We also have to look at an overview of what the industry best practices are in this space. Attorney has had me start to compile all of the P3 projects that have been done in the state and looking at the various structures of how they were done and accomplished. You'll be pleased to know that many of the towns that approach these P3s started in a very similar position to what you all are in right now. We also have to be realistic about the potential challenges as well as the opportunities in this particular situation. And then we have to look at financial assumptions as well as the deal structure. So in moving forward, the steps would be outlined as such, and you can stop me if there's any questions in between. First, you would have to identify the ownership. We already know that the town would in fact own the property. And then the attorney will look at what that looks like and how that is structured, but that is incredibly important. There are questions about partners, management, and operation. Mapping that out is going to be important. I've identified 4 categories for you all to consider. First, of course, there are hotel management companies, firms that are capable of operating a boutique hotel, of course, under a management agreement. Category B is a hotel developer / renovation specialist, firms with expertise in historic hotel renovation and adaptive reuse, including historic preservation, construction management, cost estimating and value engineering, financing, and capital structure expertise. Category C is integrated developer / operators. These are firms offering both development, construction, and ongoing hotel management services under a single entity or a joint venture agreement. And lastly, the finance partners or investors. Right. These entities are interested in providing equity or debt financing for the project, including private equity funds, historic tax credit, community development financing institutions, as well as traditional commercial lending. So that moves us into another category of making sure that those folks that we identify are qualified. We'll have to ascertain information about the firm's relevant experience from the past projects that they've done that are very similar to what you're looking for. They'll also have to provide case study examples of comparable projects, and they'll also have to share with you the firm's financing capabilities and bonding capabilities for projects of this scale. And then we'll move on to how the project would be structured and approaches. May I continue?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
very good. Based on what I've analyzed of what this committee has already done, tremendous amount of work, but a P3 structure was what was discussed. So with that in mind, you have to look at the optimal allocation of risk between both the public and the private partners, recommendations in terms of management arrangement, and of course, suggestions of contract terms and performance incentives, which of course, Attorney Bart would work out. With all of that said, that would leave us with developers / general contractors, historic renovation specialists, hotel management operators, brand partners or franchisees, financing partners, equity investors, as well as someone to look at debt assessment. And then there's, of course, the market and financial feasibility, brand partnership, development of construction, timeline outlines, and then we get down into operation. I listened to your past meeting and there was a big question about who's gonna run this thing, right? And so you would look to see who is capable of renovating a building such as this, assessing what the fixtures, furniture, and equipment that is currently in there and available as a part of the sale. What the site improvements look like. I asked questions about parking, soft costs like design, permitting fees, as well as reasonable contingency percentages. And then we move into the operations, right? So what is the staffing levels, and this gonna be appropriate for a property like such as this? What are pre-opening budgets and what type of staff training and marketing will be required? What is a realistic year one operating expense, as well as stabilizing the ratios? How would you approach food and beverage operations? What does the kitchen look like? Is it possible for supporting a project like this? And then we would all discuss what the key performance indicators that would govern the management agreement. There's just a couple more things. That would be the community and economic impact, because we answer to the public, right? So the question becomes about local hiring and workforce development. How do we give back to those who would be benefiting from this? What opportunities exist for local vendors and suppliers to participate in a project like this? Talking about the approach to engaging the local community and respecting the property's historic significance. I heard you loud and clear when you said, I grew up here, I'm vested here, I'm rooted here, and so you want to see it succeed. Just a couple additional comments. There would be a need for some study and analysis about how do you preserve White Springs as we know it, and how do you move that preservation into the future. The evaluation of what prioritizes the values of this town, and then of course you would look for someone to provide all of that in an RFI that we would present. I know that you all had a walkthrough with an engineer. My last recommendation is, and I think the biggest priority is getting an appraisal done, so that the negotiation for a purchase transaction, a real estate transaction happens. Before that is done, nothing else matters. Thank you.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
She was being modest before. I knew
Okay,
that.
I knew, I was like,
Yeah.
come on, tell us.
So again,
I do have a question though. This usual wasn't here, but it was one of the things that he had asked before. Because I know we have to have funds to get some of these things done. So how would we go about, because our committee has been ready since we said we were forming this committee to start working on fundraisers and, you know, things of that nature. So how do we start? Because
The necessary fundraising to have the funds for the appraisal and things of that nature.
right.
I think that's our next step, you know, and I think that's something that we can take a look at and see what's out there, and then, you know, have that be part of our next meeting. Because we gotta get, you know, those preliminary dollars in some way, somehow.
What was the amount of money that it was gonna cost for that appraisal?
well, do you have any ballpark, Kristen, here? Any ballpark?
Residential's around $650. With commercial, they'll pull,
Yeah.
they'll you know, appraising against other businesses.
$5,000 or $7,000, I'm sure it's probably.
Well, 650 for a residential, not 6,000, but,
Yeah.
commercial, they will have to do more work, more digging, more investigation. I would think 1,500, 2,000, I would think something like that, maybe.
Excuse me,
Lady, she's also a first lady and a minister.
oh, so what she said, I really didn't know. Question on the floor.
What was the question? So traditionally, I did do an assessment for the attorney. In Florida, commercial appraisals range between $1,500 and $2,000. That's for us, just simpler, smaller commercial projects. But the range that and I'm not gonna quote an exact range, but you should be prepared to pay between $2,500 and $3,000 for a property that size. Now some more complex, like retail chains and restaurants, those go into the $5,000 to $10,000 as you mentioned. But in terms of our region, this area, I would expect about $3,000.
And the reason I say is because there's some environmental things that got to be looked at down there along the river and all that. Nobody mentioned environmental. To get it,
Well, that would
in
probably,
in today's world, environment, I mean, you know, it may have always have been a hotel, but I guarantee if you go to DEP and everywhere else now to try to get it, you're gonna find out that there's gonna be a lot of environmental work that needs to be done.
In the soil?
There's a soil and that close to the road.
well, I would separate that, the appraisal from the actual survey.
From the survey.
There would be a separate survey.
I don't think they have a problem there. Yeah, that's you. No, not if they approve that. Anyway, that was one of the questions, that answered two of the questions actually about the cost of the appraisal. We just now need to find a company, or is it someone?
The attorney did assign me to do that, and I
Okay.
started that. I wanted to make sure that I had those back in writing, not just guesstimates, so by the time your next meeting comes, I'll compile that for attorney.
You did us proud.
And once you get it, let me know ballpark figure and see what I can find.
So,
So just to be clear, I don't want to be offensive, and I really want to be clear on that, but I want to be critical and objective. The people that are going to visit our town, they're gonna look at us harshly. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna come and they're gonna want to see it through their eyes, not through our eyes, because they don't live here, and we're gonna need to charge premiums for food or for lodging, and they're gonna have high expectations. So we have to not take it personally that we have some work to do, because it is like our baby. No one wants to hear that their baby's not the best looking baby in the whole world. And so we have to be aware that all the visitors are the newcomers. I've been here 5 years, but I'll always be a newcomer, I get that. But everyone is gonna be a newcomer with almost very few exceptions. And they're gonna come into the town and they're gonna make an evaluation, and then through word of mouth, maybe they're gonna recommend that people come here or not. And social media today, like if people come here and don't have a good experience in the town, they're gonna blast us. So please don't take it like that it's just the reality. The reality is you gotta come at it with the eyes of the visitor, not the eyes of the resident. And like I said, I do a substantial amount throughout the growing season to keep a chunk of this town cleaned up. So I do care.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah.
Child, we good.
Okay. Let's go forward. Let's go forward.
okay, so you're going to let us know by the next meeting about, we can start the fundraising and the you know. Okay.
The options that are available.
Okay. Okay, so, it was like when you read the stuff that I had put together with,
All
stuff that you put
What?
together. Yeah, send it all to me.
I said, what, 50-some pages?
That's not all.
Well, that's just pamphlets. It's not completely put together yet, cause I'm waiting on
Okay.
Mr. Nick to give me some more information,
Okay.
so I can pinpoint it in on the rest of my presentation. And then I will have it
Can I ask you
complete.
a question? You live in Jasper, right?
Well, Jennings, yeah.
Jennings, okay. So the county commission bought a lot of those buildings downtown, correct? But they're with the development authority?
Half and half.
So what was the idea behind that purchase?
They were gonna put, well, what they wanted to put is they're leasing the buildings out. A person can come in and fix it up, and the money they put in it, they'll give it back in a lease, just to kind of hold on to it so it doesn't do like it did and was kind of held hostage or whatever it was, but, putting small businesses in them buildings, that was, mainly it was because one person owned them all and they couldn't do nothing at all, couldn't knock them down, couldn't nothing. You couldn't put nothing in the window, couldn't fix the windows. That was, I think, more the main reason of getting them back. Now it's half and half, it's half, the commissioners and half of the development board that own it. And so now it's trying to find
So
people
I
to fill
wonder
them.
if something like that could be done for the Telford. Would be worth looking into.
We made a presentation that this is what we like to do. And we have gone back with the development authority. And I think we need a little bit more concrete information to go to them, say this. Again, that's why I keep going back to this plan or some similar. But
Yeah, I think you have to take a number to them probably, and, you know.
Business plan is, I just gotta finish putting it together, but basically, if you look at those packets that I've given you with the economic and basically that is basically a business plan, it's just not written down to say business plan, but when I copy it from this piece of paper to put it in that sequence, then basically the business plan is already completed. Just have to make it official and put the word business plan on it.
So
But all of that is
at what
included
point do you
with-
plan to address them again?
After, well, we had to form an official committee first. It was just an idea, I had passed out some papers and Scott saw it and he called and asked me if he could put me on the agenda for the Economic Development Board, because they had brought all these properties in Jasper and Jennings. And he was like, come talk to them, see what they can do for White Springs. And that's how I met Christina. And it's just gone from there.
You have to go in front of them with a number, really, is what you wanna do, is kind of,
Once we get everything
a number of how much you're
together-
asking them to contribute.
Yeah, once we get everything together, then, but I guess we have to get the appraisal and stuff done first, then we'll know what it's.
Do you have a date for the, engineer inspection too? Like, you wanna make sure that it's not gonna cost, $500,000 to fix the foundation. Like, you wanna get that set
Right.
before you even, do you have I know you talked to the little girl and she walkthrough. Did she set up a time to actually do the whole?
I wasn't there, I was still in Tallahassee,
Right,
my same days, Befaithful was the one that went to the walk.
She's going to submit a written proposal to you.
Okay.
So when she
Tell them
does,
the
then I can send
amount
it
she
to-
would charge and all that.
Yeah, when she sends it to me, I send it to her, to Garner, and we get them, send it to the rest of the email, all the other committee members. Everybody would know the same thing, Leslie, Amarosa, everybody have what we need. So we
That'd be
can-
right there with your appraisal and all that,
Right. So, I guess the biggest part is get the appraisal done and get her report, then we'll know exactly what we're working with, if it's even worth it. And go from there, and then we'll know what to exactly put into our letters, for our sponsorships and donations and whatever. Because in the original papers that I had written, I was, always have said that I wanted to do it without town funds, because I know we're broke. No, we're not broke, I know we're,
You're financially distressed.
yeah, right.
No, we don't wanna do so hard.
I know we're would check, you right, you work on that, you right.
To cover what
We're
they
being
do.
prudent, that's what I'm
Not have
gonna say.
excess funds, we
Right.
have just what we need.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
that kind of thing, but.
So anyway, the original idea was to not, when I came up with it, I have the different tiers of sponsorship that does not leave any person out regardless of what their pockets look like. If you donate $1, then you get this. You know, from $1 to like $5,000, you get one incentive, and then, you know, each tier has something more than it offered, but as it goes up, even, there was one for structural, and, you know, you name a room, you get a name an area, or whatever, but, you know, you get different incentives, like free night, once a year, the property, you know, access to the property, to host, whatever. It was just different incentives that came with each level of sponsorship and, with the donation. And, so, you know, that's how I plan on us funding this, and to raise the money, to begin with, start out with a $2 million campaign, trying to raise $2 million from the different foundations, grants, things of that nature too. Well, I said 2, my best friend said 3, so somewhere between $2 and $3 million, I'm sorry, not thousand. Right. But in the ideal world, that would be to purchase, renovate. The money for that would be for the purchase, the renovation, and to have money to function for the next 3 to 5 years, you know, at least 3 years to start getting an income in. Because I know it's gonna be off rip, you're not gonna make no whole bunch of money. But you gotta have some money to put aside for emergencies and to pay a staff or whatever we need done. So that was the ideal that I have and what I have put together, you know, what I thought about it. I told you, I thought about this for a couple of months before I even decided to bring it before anybody and to tell anybody. So, and I'll be working. So, I guess they'll get that together for us, what we'll be able to start doing, and the letters we'll be able to send out, and we'll be able to do it officially once, if the council approves the committee, then we'll be able to work in an official capacity. All right, and what is next on our agenda? All right, does anyone in the public have anything they want to say? Now's your time.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you, Mayor, you've been doing Okay, Nick, you can get that stuff right there. How we up again?
We need the next meeting date, we need a next
Oh,
meeting date. We're not-
Okay, wait a minute. Okay. I'm getting too excited to be there.
Next
Y'all
meeting
just
date.
don't understand. You'll understand in a moment. Okay. What would be a good date for you all to meet again?
Well, it depends on what timeline Leslie has.
So maybe after the next council meeting.
Okay.
After the March council meeting.
No, February. Mr. G, we just in February. No, we gotta be before then, we got work to do. Hold on. And you know we ain't stuck on Mondays, that was just a good day for us for now.
Well, we're at special events.
Well, yeah, it does work for us with Monday.
We don't have no special at 7 p.m. on the.
16th is President's Day, so that leaves the 23rd. If we wanna do it in this month or do it next month.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I got surgery. 16th and 17th.
23rd, council is the 10th.
You wanna do it on the 2nd of March?
The council what?
Council is the 10th of, and then again the 10th of
Yes.
March.
So, would the 23rd work with everybody?
Which 23rd of February?
February.
What days that fall?
It's on Monday. I mean, if y'all wanna do the date besides Monday, I was just trying not to
Okay
get
on that time, or you wanna push it back?
I'll be fine for that next day, shoot. I'm a soldier. No, I have surgery, 16th and 17th.
What date are y'all looking at?
February the 23rd, that Monday, the 4th Monday.
We're taking the comp plan, no, on the 3rd of March, I'm sorry. The 23rd or 2nd?
No, I'm waiting. You said that's the 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fourth Monday of every month.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know, the 1st and the 4th?
No, just fourth.
Yeah.
Always after your.
Council meeting. Okay.
23rd?
Yes, sir. And our secretary said that we should, wait a minute, let me look and make sure. That's around the time. That's around election time. Fourth Monday, 1, 2, 3.
We wouldn't have the election on Monday.
No,
Wednesday, right, 22nd?
What are you looking for, election?
April 22nd, right?
April 28th.
First. 28th?
28th, okay, that's a Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm finalizing the notice, to just change
So the 28th and the 30th is when we have the meeting. You have election on the 28th and then the meeting will be on the 3rd, organization will be on the Thursday. Okay, so our next meeting will be February the 23rd, 6 to 6:30.
6:15, split the difference. 6:15.
6:15.
Seems when we start.
Freddie, that time is good with you?
Yeah.
Leslie, is that good for y'all? Alright, 6:15,
And then, again,
February the 23rd.
and then the 23rd of March, we have the 4th Monday.
Yeah, every 4th Monday, unless the special meeting is called. So that would be our normal time, 4th Mondays, at 6:15.
I would like it.
All right, let's do it.
We all in agreement? Okay. Alright, so I make a motion, let's end it.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I second.
And.
You want me to go? Okay, Nick, we're ready. Before we adjourn,
Everybody stand by, please.
yeah, Miss, can you come to the front, please?
That's you, ma'am.
The Amarosa, can you please come to the front of the room? Y'all hear that?
Rice Krispies.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Come on, G.
Now,
Who's quiet?
Nothing this.
Hold on, let me go grab this other part. Excuse me, Mr. Bowles.
It's all for me.
I don't know, I thought Nikki was going there. Nikki, where'd you go?
I'm here.
Well, she's this week.
We wanted to tell Miss Amarosa that we are so glad to have her to come on board for the town of White Springs, especially our Community Redevelopment Committee. And we realized her birthday is Wednesday. So therefore, we wanted to welcome you and say happy birthday, early birthday, and we love you already.
Yeah. Thank you.
We sing it.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Amarosa. Happy birthday to you.
And then it will be.
Now, this basket, my birthday.
You know it was really.
I'm ready for y'all.
This basket was prepared by Christina McCulley with Hamilton County.
We got some cane syrup. All right. Jelly, we got some good old Hamilton County stuff. And Hamilton County.
Mayhaw jelly?
Right here. And then the Telford and White Springs is in here. That's cane syrup, you know what that is? On biscuits, girl. And grits, we can eat grits and biscuits.
And, I forgot the candy in the house, but, yes, candy go in the bag. Let me give you your birthday. I think some of the rules I got away, but the other two flew off.
Okay, sorry.
The other two rooms.
That happens sometimes.
No, the other ones were on top of the bed.
Oh, it wasn't her fault.
It was Gretchen's fault.
It was my fault.
Yes.
When I looked you up, it was happy birthday, and I was like,
Aw. That was
My grandson, you know.
on my
birthday.
Right.